Everyone, welcome to the March 24th, 2026 Concord Planning Board meeting. We have members attending the Zoom as well, so we're going to do a roll call attendance, excuse me. Pat Miller, not Pat Nelson, sorry, get the names mixed up today. And Alan Bogosian
Here.
Sue Belsham
Here.
Andrew Boardman here, and Rob Elmay and myself is here.
Elizabeth, can you click the OK button? Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Okay, we're moving to our first item. Recommendation, Jonathan Silverstein, Blattman, Grabowski, Haverty, and Silverstein LLC. The applicant on behalf of Concord Country Store LLC for a special permit and site plan review under zoning bylaw section 7.1.3, 7.2, 11.6, and 11.8 to renovate the existing gas station and make associated site improvements in the floodplain servicing district at 166 Commonwealth Avenue, parcel number 2184-2. Do we have?
We do. Good evening. My name is Jonathan Silverstein. Sorry for the mouthful of my law firm name. We usually just say BDHS. I am counsel for the applicant. We have a number of team members here. We have Matt Merva, who from Bowler, who will be presenting the landscape plan. We have Axel Solberg, who is the project architect. Jason Adams from Bowman on traffic, and Ty Fayad from the applicant. I'm going to give a really quick overview. I know that we're waiting for peer review, and so we're not expecting a vote tonight, but thought it'd be helpful just to give the board an overview of the project, see if you have any questions, and of course, we're prepared to come back after the peer review comes in. I think everyone's probably familiar with the site, 166 Commonwealth. Previously was a gas station and auto repair facility. It hasn't operated as a gas station for some time, although the gas pumps, tanks, and Highland are still there. It's been operating as a motor vehicle repair facility. Pretty much the entire site is paved. There are no designated parking spaces. The building has seen better days. We hope that the board will agree that the project we're proposing is a substantial improvement. It's going to result in much more open space, landscaping, invasive species removal, less impervious surface, a complete facelift of the existing building, in a way that's really consistent with the West Concord design standards. It will replace the existing very old underground storage tanks with modern double-walled alarmed storage tanks. It will improve site lighting consistent with the decorative street lighting that the town has installed. The store itself is really unique. It's not your typical gas station convenience store. You'll hear more about it, but it sells an eclectic variety of hardware, gifts, toys, produce, certainly some convenience store type items, but it's much more than that. And the applicant runs two other country store locations currently that feel free to visit, but we really think it'll be a nice addition to the area. We've been in front of the West Concord Advisory Committee a couple of times. The project was very well received. We did get some feedback, and we've incorporated that into the plans that are before you today. We need a use special permit to operate the gas station. As I said, there was a gas station there previously. The current use doesn't have a special permit, so technically it's pre-existing non-conforming. We could have proceeded as an alteration of a pre-existing non-conforming use, but instead we're just we want to bring the use into compliance. So we're asking the ZBA for the use special permit. We need site plan because we need the special permit from ZBA. Site plan review is before the ZBA. And then the other form of relief we need is sort of interestingly, the building is too far from the street because in the West Concord Village District, the requirement is that the building be closer to the street. We're actually going to be make more conforming or less non-conforming. We're bringing it closer to the street by adding a wraparound canopy and porch. And so it will be closer to the street, but it's just not practicable to have this store all the way on the street in compliance with the bylaw because then there would be no room for the gas pumps. So that's the relief we need. I will turn it over first, I guess, to Matt, who can walk you through sort of the site plan. Of course, just shout us down if you have questions at any point. We're happy to answer them.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan. Again, my name's Matt Merva with Bowler. I'm a partner there, landscape architect. We're also the civil engineers on the project. I'm going to present the site plans for you tonight and then turn it over to Jason Adams from our traffic group, Bowman, to just walk through some of that with you before we turn it over to Axel to talk in more detail about the architecture. But as Jonathan mentioned, the site is currently a gas station structure. We are proposing to maintain that structure, build a new canopy, replace the tanks, and create additional landscape and pervious area on the site. As you can see, this is the proposed plan. The existing plan, pardon me. The existing plan, you can see it's pretty much paved from end to end of the site. Over to the north on the left side of the page, the paving goes up pretty close to the riverfront. We're actually pulling that back as part of the.
Can I ask you to just blow in?
I think I can.
Zoom into the site. Thank you.
There we go. How's that?
Thank you.
Sure.
Better.
So the Neshoba Brook runs over here. This is the existing paved edge, and you can see we're right up against our abutters and up against the sidewalk here. In the proposed plan, figure out how to change pages now that I'm in this mode. Bear with me 1 second.
You know, I was gonna do that. Just want to show for the record that Abby Flanagan joined the meeting. Excuse me.
Please stand by. There we go. Okay. The proposed plan, you can see we've pulled back the paving, increased the landscape in this zone. We're providing additional landscape around the existing sign that will remain, and then also creating a little additional buffer between us and the adjacent parking lot. We're actually going to curb off so that there is no passing over this area of the cars between these two zones. We're showing 11 proposed parking spaces here, 4 up against the proposed building expansion with the canopy that you can see around the edge here, 3 over here along the sidewalk. We'll be providing some benches for the public here along the brook. This is our transformer, trash enclosure, and then accessible parking space. Then the gas canopy is located right here. We will have EV parking spaces right here. We're showing 2 of them. And again, we're maintaining that freestanding sign. There will be some signage on the building structure, which Axel will get into, and on the canopy, which Axel will also show you. From a lighting standpoint, we're actually going to continue utilizing the fixture that Concord Municipal Light has been installing along the street edge here. So we'll continue with those poles in 2 more locations on the site, and then 1 more back here to the rear. We have a detailed photometric plan that's part of the package as well. Yeah, sorry, did you have a question?
Yes, it was a question. Can the photometrics plan, was that with the architectural set or
No,
the
there's a photometric plan in the site set.
in the site set?
Yes, it is right here.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. It's sheet L201.
Thank you.
From a landscape standpoint, we've included some robust planting along the riverfront. We've been coordinating with the NRC on that. We'll be before them in the coming weeks to discuss that further. And then from a utility standpoint, we'll have new gas and underground electric service to the site. We'll also be improving stormwater management through a water quality unit that will discharge to a treatment area before ultimately, just zoom in on that area here. This is the water quality unit drainage structure, which will collect all of the runoff from on site. Currently, it's just kind of sheet flowing into the Neshoba Brook. So that'll be captured, collected, treated before ultimately discharging through that system.
Into the brook still.
That's right. That's right. But
No,
there'll be more infiltration on site happening and water quality separation of the oils through that water quality unit.
But no on-site retention area.
There is a small unit right here for on-site retention, right where I'm highlighting, which is an improvement over what's there today. And we obviously have to meet the state and local standards, which are being peer reviewed from my understanding, and will there's a full drainage report that was part of the submission that they'll be reviewing as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jason, and we can take questions after we get through our presentation. But I'll take it away.
Good evening. For the record, Jason Adams with Bowman Consulting. We were hired to review the potential traffic impacts of the project. We completed a traffic impact study, which focused on the 2 project site driveways as well as the intersections around Kenny Dunn Square. We collected traffic volume data in April of last year during the weekday morning and weekday afternoon peak periods, when the combination of traffic associated with the site and roadway traffic would be the highest. We forecasted those traffic volumes into the future year 2032 following Mass DOT guidelines, and then completed a trip generation assessment of the proposed project using data published by the Institute of Transportation Engineers, which is the industry standard way of forecasting vehicle trips. This type of project site is basically a convenience use with the country store and the gas. So it would draw a majority of vehicle trips from those already traveling past the site. Those are considered to be pass-by trips, which don't add vehicles to the area. But we then assign the vehicle trips to the 2 site driveways based on a review of existing traffic volumes and matters of convenience of this type of use with the multiple access points. Really, people are going to use whichever one is the best one for them. We then completed a traffic analysis using Synchro capacity analysis software that indicates that the project site driveways should operate in an acceptable manner and that the project would not have a significant impact to the surrounding roadway system. We completed a site distance analysis of the 2 project site driveways. They both meet guidelines for both intersection site distance and stopping site distance, which indicates the driveways should be able to operate in a safe and efficient manner. And overall, the impact study does not show any noticeable changes that would result as part of the project. I'm happy to answer any questions or can turn it over to Axel to.
What date was used? What date was the analysis done on?
We completed the counts in April of last year.
Which day?
It was Tuesday, April 8th.
And just quickly before Axel jumps in, I wanted to mention a couple other just benefits of the project. The applicant has agreed to completely reconstruct the sidewalk along its frontage. And though this will require some coordination with the town, if requested to also install a sidewalk over to Kenny Dunn Square from the sidewalk in front of the site. So I just wanted to mention those.
Thanks, Jonathan. I'm zooming in on that area right now, which would connect up to the square that Kenny Dunn Square.
Cool.
All right. You, Axel.
All right, thank you. Greetings, everyone. My name is Axel Solberg. I'm a principal architect with HFA. And so I've had the pleasure of working on this as well as a couple of the other stores already mentioned earlier. I'm going to go to the floor plan map. So overall, this is it's fairly straightforward plan. It's a retail convenience store, something I'm sure we're all very familiar with seeing in the past. However, I think what gave us a lot of pleasure as we were working on this specific site in this village was we just noticed that there was a happy marriage between the West Concord design guidelines and the store's brand and the architectural palette that we've already used in the past. So it seemed like this was a nicely conducive use of the site and an application of architecture. So the entire store is very functional, and what you'll see on the elevations when we look at the exterior, everything on the interior is reflected on the exterior, which is something that is purported also in the design guidelines. And you'll also see the proportions that we are able to achieve using with the windows, the balusters, and the canopy column placements along the exterior facades. The interior experience of this store is probably its most memorable and unique aspect. And again, once we get to the exterior elevations, I can talk further on this, but it is a tall interior sales floor. And so for that reason, we utilize a flat roof, which is one of the two predominant architectural roof forms recommended in the design guidelines. And the flat roof form here is functionally driven for a number of purposes, but not least of which is there is an actual display of sort of eclectic experiential devices, classical kind of unique, what's the word I'm looking for? Antiques and sort of animatronics above the sales floor. So it really does create a unique vibe. Why don't we go to the exterior elevations if we can? Thank you. So here's a rendering, of the proposed design when looking from Kenny Dunn Square. So what you'll see here is, again, we are reusing part of the existing structure, but we are really applying the brand of the store to the form. And we're actually taking a number of steps here to increase the curb appeal and the inviting aspect of the store to people who might be on the sidewalk and the surrounding context. And that's primarily achieved through the use of the covered canopy, which you see surrounding all three sides of the public facing facades of the building. And we do have, nicely spaced columns with golden section derived proportion openings for all of the windows on the ground floor. We made sure to ensure that the sill heights married nicely with what the design guidelines required. And those columns all around the canopy do have solid masonry bases to ensure that they have some resiliency, as is kind of typical practice when we're designing columns or architectural built components around parking spaces. And so what you'll see in this rendering is all of the light fixtures that we're proposing here have been selected to complement the West Concord Village vernacular. And we do have clerestory windows, which are not superfluous elements. I think a lot of us have seen retail buildings throughout the years where you'll see fake dormers, fake windows, things like that, which are just frills intended to add detail. That's not the case here. Everything that you see here is actually functionally serving a purpose. If we can go to the elevations that. Oh, and this is just taken from I guess what you would say, the planned north side of the building looking south. So one of the comments we received from our first meeting with the design review committee was just a further embellishment of the rear facade here. And so we added a number of trim elements, more gooseneck lights here in lieu of the wall packs, which we had here previously. So this is the side of the building which faces into the alley with the abutting property.
The parapet.
And oh yes, and we did originally the design of this building showed the roof cornice line wrapping the 3 public facing sides of the building with the low sloping flat roof tapering off for a drainage gutter system on the back. So they wanted to see that cornice carried around all 4 sides of the building. So we wrapped the cornice line around the alley side as well. So here are the technical elevations, which you can see include dimensions for vertical clearances. And so as you can see, again, the intent of those clerestory windows being elevated quite high is to not only add natural light into the interior sales floor experience, but also to provide an emphasis on this display of unique experiential goods up above the retail sales floor fixtures.
What's the height of that
I can tell you just
inside?
inside. To the inside of that, we're looking about 18.5 to 19 feet clear. And that's to the underside of the structure.
So it's a 4-foot parapet around the building.
It's a little bit less than a 4-foot parapet, yeah. But it is sufficient to screen rooftop equipment, which would basically be limited here to fans and vents.
No HVAC.
I don't believe the intent is to put HVAC units on the roof. Pad mounted on the site adjacent to the building. We haven't developed the engineering yet, so this is.
Or they could be hung on the wall, on
Yeah.
the exterior side of the building.
Given that this is a small footprint for a retail building, there are a number of HVAC solutions that we can employ. But the intent is that the parapet would serve as an effective screen to anything being mounted up there if that becomes the need.
Okay, so my apologies, I thought all your HVAC equipment was gonna be up on the roof. So if it is going to be on the site on the ground, it needs to be shown on the site plan.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
understood.
Sorry, my apologies for that.
So, and then, yeah, if we can go to the next set of elevations here, Matt. So these are the side elevations. Again, the storefront locations are all functionally driven. Exterior egress doors are located where we're required to have egress for code and service functionality for back of house. And if we can go to the next.
Hold on, what is that? Is that a door? Or what is that sort of blue-green thing at
You
the?
talking about bottom left of this?
Okay.
That's an egress door for the rear
Okay,
service board.
thank
Yep. And if we can go to the next page, which I believe shows the canopy. Yep. So the canopy here is very simple. It's just a flat roof canopy structure designed to be in accordance with kind of the brand overall of the building and the architectural style. And so this is just further aligning the brand and the architecture of the store with the canopy. But again, here you'll see the sign. If you can zoom into the top right elevation, Matt, the west one. Yeah, you'll see here the signage being proposed on the face of the canopy is not internally illuminated, but externally illuminated by downward facing blades. So just further adds to the compliance with the intent of the design guidelines for this area.
Is that the actual color?
Yep, it's just natural wood siding. The rendering,
Natural cedar.
yeah. From the looks of the screen to what I have in my renderings, it looks like the screen might be rendering it a little bit lighter.
Is the material cedar or is it a composite material?
We typically spec both, and it comes down to best practice when the building is being constructed. But it could be natural cedar clapboard, or it could be something like a hardy board or fiber cement synthetic, which always do have the wood grain finish on the exterior.
Oh, so that's
So
a
it's pretty
change.
convincing.
I watched the recording of the West Concord Advisory Committee meeting from January where you said it would be wood, but you're saying it might be wood.
I think it,
Our Upton store is wood,
Yeah.
so 90% is gonna be,
But it may or may not be. Okay.
well, I think if the requirement was that it has
Yeah.
to be authentic wood, then that's the path we would take.
I was just making sure I had that down.
To circle back on the mechanical equipment, are you gonna have any refrigeration needs, gonna have any emergency power generator?
No generator
Okay,
here.
just wanna make sure. So if there was, just show them.
Now, Elizabeth, does this count as a redevelopment or a new development? I'm wondering whether the fossil fuel free.
That'll be a question that I'll pose to the building commissioner. Whether this triggers the fossil fuel free bylaw or not.
Because we're doing over 50% renovation here, right?
Yes.
And I'm trying to, it doesn't have a lot of, does it have any actual exterior walls in common? Because you're pushing it out this way, but back that way, and then,
2 walls. So the rear wall, and if you're looking at it from Kennington Square, the left, the wall closest to the Neshoba Valley.
the bakery.
Yeah. So
So
that
that's
is very
right. I see why you'll be talking to the building
I
commissioner.
do not know the ins and outs and of the fossil fuel free bylaw, and I think there is a percentage trigger and possibly a cost trigger, but that'll be a
Right.
question I'll pose to the
Of
building
course, you
commissioner.
could choose to go fossil fuel free, but
You may be
Yes.
required to go fossil fuel free, so
Right.
Yeah.
he'll make that
That's
determination.
what-
I can ask him tomorrow.
Anyway, that sums up my kind of synopsis of the architecture, but happy to dive into further detail and great questions.
There's a section of the lawn out in the front, if you're looking at it to the right-hand side.
You want to go back to the site plan?
Sure,
Yeah.
on the right-hand side there. With,
you mean along the curve of,
yeah,
of
where the green
Commonwealth?
space is,
Where the
Right
existing freestanding sign is?
it looks like a little boat right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What's gonna be in there?
That is a planted island, and I can go to the
It
detail.
looks like grass, but there's a whole bunch of.
They're right, exact.
They just didn't draw it in on this plan.
It's just sort of an overall rendering, but the
Now, the existing freestanding sign is you didn't mention it in the plans. You're not proposing that it will be internally lit, are you?
Well, I think that's gonna go with that section right there.
We'll see that right.
This is the
There's
sign.
already a freestanding sign there in disreputable condition. And I'm questioning, I guess it's part of whether it's development or redevelopment, whether the sign bylaw kicks in to prevent anything internally lit there.
So
Still unclear
they have not submitted any
signage.
signage to the building commissioner to determine, what process.
Okay.
Whether it's a legal non-conforming sign and they may need to go through the Board of Appeals. Or that. I don't know if you have any information on the sign.
we don't have any renderings on this sign yet. Everything you see on the building is what we're proposing for the building signage, and that's all indirectly lit, but we've not come up with a plan for how to address this sign, other than we just want to reuse essentially what's there, but refurbish it and make it part of the brand of what we're doing here.
Since you're showing the relevant spot right now, you're proposing a crosswalk to Kenny Dunn Square,
Yes.
which is great. So I live in the area and I have gone as a pedestrian up and down to the train thousands of times, so I have a lot of experience with this. And it is actually safer to walk on that side of the street than to cross Commonwealth Avenue and Lawsbrook twice, going across two lanes of traffic in opposing directions. So having a crosswalk is certainly an excellent thing. But the previous plan that was proposed to this area bumped out the sidewalk, making the curve of Commonwealth more of a T, which was much safer. I know people have been discussing
That,
for 20 years.
and that is still a conversation through Concord Public Works Engineering.
Yeah,
And I do not know where they go as far as the redesign of Kenny Dunn Square.
right. It's right, I mean, I hate to see, some excellent changes made if it's just about to get remade again. I also hate to see another 20 years slip by, but this proposal can't wait for Public Works and the police department and the fire department to say what they find acceptable.
Correct.
Yeah. You have the driveway there, just on the far side of where the freestanding sign is.
Right.
That is another difficult area for pedestrians. Currently, there is this vast curb cut that goes all the way from the island with the sign past the driveway on your property and on up past the Neshoba Bakery parking lot. And it's all just one enormous traffic free-for-all, which is a death trap for pedestrians. Now, I see that you're putting in that nice little planted island between you and the bakery property. Does that extend all the way out to the street, preventing people from cutting the corner there? Or will it still be one big curb cut so that people can cut either through your driveway into the Neshoba Bakery lot or through the Neshoba Bakery lot into your driveway?
Believe there's gonna be curbing.
Yeah. There'll be curbing that's running from the street all the way to the building now. That separates the two.
So you're gonna delineate the property line?
Correct.
Will be fully delineated.
Yeah.
Okay, that wasn't clear on the plan, but I mean, there's a black line, but I just couldn't tell if that was the property line or the
That is the
actual
property line, but we can extend
the curving all the way.
that curve into
Okay.
the back of the sidewalk. But it won't be very wide. It's only what we can do on our own property.
Right,
So-
right, but it would keep cars from just
Yeah.
going the zoom over
Right,
that.
which is what we're doing here. You can see it. We've got two curbs with like
Right.
a stone inside between
Right.
them. So
It's narrow, but
if we
it's
can,
enough
it's
to
narrow, but
prevent anything but the.
you're not gonna drive over it.
Yeah.
and- Yeah.
I noticed that that driveway is very modest width. But your other driveway is much wider, so I wonder. Why does the other one have to be so wide? Can't it be just as narrow to have the side, to have a shorter distance for pedestrians?
Sure,
cross?
that's a great question. So when you overlay the truck turning movements
Mhm.
on this site, if we choke down that opening, we
Mhm.
won't be able to get trucks and emergency vehicles in and out of this curb
okay.
cut. So
All right,
that's what necessitates that.
okay. Yes, I'll check off some questions that you got.
What about snow storage? What's the plan for snow storage on the site?
We were speaking with the local, excuse my, the way I refer to, what is it? The Conservation Commission? Natural resources, yeah, apologies. And we were contemplating where we can locate a temporary storage area, since most of it is going to be hauled off. But there will need to be somewhere on site that we would be able to store temporarily while we're loading the trucks. They wanted to be outside of the buffer zone, which makes things a little bit more challenging. So we're still exploring that. We're gonna be looking for feedback from them on where exactly that's gonna be. But that is being explored.
I had a question about the, I don't know if it's a landscape or whatever. Currently on the site, it basically goes all the way to the river and there's actually like a barrier or something on the riverside. Is that being removed as part of this and then you're pushing everything more onto the site and away from the river, so you don't need that kind of car catcher type thing, or what's the plan this. There were so many plans that were, there's a lot going on in this.
Sure, yeah. Let me try to go to so here's the existing conditions plan. And I'll try to highlight where this is the existing edge of asphalt here.
Okay.
So that will be removed. And we're pulling it back essentially to about there. And I'll flip to the so now we pulled it back from right here to this is the face of the curb here. This is a sidewalk. These are benches, and then this will all be landscape in there.
So there's much more of a defined barrier between the parking
absolutely.
and
That-
basically the river incline. Yeah,
That's right. And
I think
surface flow heading in this direction is going to come into this catch basin before it can go to the river, and then it's got to come through our water quality unit into our infiltration, and then to the outfall.
And I think we'll be removing the guardrail that's there now, which I think you were referencing.
Yeah.
Because
it wouldn't be necessary.
The car catcher,
Yeah,
the guardrail.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't think of a word either.
Yep. That's it.
Will there be some kind of curbing to, between the pathway and the 3 parking spaces to keep people from rolling up onto the path?
Yes, that'll be a 6-inch reveal curb along this edge here.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Your back wall looks like a nice opportunity for one of those murals. We have several.
I've heard that.
Oh, really? Okay. That was my first thought when I first looked at your plans, but yes, you have heard that. A lot of the electrical boxes have also gotten painted recently. Can transformer boxes get?
So electrical boxes have not been painted. Those are, the boxes that you see are, switch boxes for the lights.
Oh, that's different though.
Those are
Not like the
Yes.
transformer. Okay,
They-
oh well.
the transformer, and so far cannot be painted. But,
Oh well.
I have seen, instead of ugly decorative bollards, I've seen, the bollards get, painted like flowers or, so there may be
A
some
little-
things to do, but,
Also.
the transformer, cannot be.
Let's see, I don't know if you're aware that there will be an article at town meeting next month regarding, new lighting standards for Concord, and your proposal is being submitted now, but I just wanted to suggest that you might want to look at those standards and follow them voluntarily. They're not that different from what you are proposing. Although you seem to have a couple of those downward facing lights over your 2 clerestory windows,
Gooseneck.
goosenecks, and is the goal to light up the roof?
It's just.
I'm not sure why you have them.
Oh, they're to
Yeah.
light up just the sign.
Yeah.
Oh, this, something
underneath
that is
it.
not
So
shown.
They point down and sort of at the sign.
Oh, well, that made perfect sense, on the other side of the building where the sign was shown, but, where the.
Oh, on the
windows-
back?
On the back?
That was a request.
Oh, I'm
So-
sorry. Yes, those are wall mounted sconce fixtures.
No, I didn't mean those, okay, so
Should-
looking at it the way it is now, on the right side, they clearly light up your signage, that makes sense. On the bottom, they go over the clerestory windows and light up the arcade roof.
Let me go to the elevations.
So I wasn't sure, those two,
Yeah.
yeah, like one of those there. It's also a shame that your nice decorative archy bit there is completely hidden by the canopy of the gas pumps, but oh well.
I don't think it will be when you're standing on the street.
But at any rate, I just wondered why you had the lights over the windows when there's no visible.
Yeah, it's really just a decorative architectural feature that aligns the lighting with the clerestory windows. And then at night, that will also, if you're inside the sales floor, that will just contribute to the interior experience.
Oh, it's
Both cast light on to the interior and highlights those windows as part of the
Okay.
exterior.
I guess, we'll look at the lighting plan when we.
Yeah, which leads me to, paying attention to the new lighting plan, the new bylaws. In the canopy, in the gas station, the lighting is a lot different than what the bylaw is gonna state. Because you're gonna need more light for when people pump gas into their vehicles.
So I don't think it was mentioned during the presentation. This is a full-time attendant
Oh,
gas station.
oh, okay. So you don't pump your own?
Besides the HVAC equipment, I wonder what you're doing with the roof, because in the case of a flat roof, the only useful purposes are HVAC, a green roof, which would make a whole lot of sense in your case, solar panels, or the less useful but better than nothing is painting it white to reflect heat. And I wonder, besides whatever fans or other HVAC you might have up there, what your plans are for the remainder of the roof, solar or something else?
No plan to be solar ready, but we don't have any plans to install solar at the moment.
Right, will you at least be painting it white?
It would be a TPO.
Yeah, what a
roof.
TPO.
Yeah. It's not painted white, it's already a white.
Material,
Yes,
yes,
yeah.
material, okay. Oh, that is done. Ugh.
No neon signs, huh?
I appreciate that it's not just a boring gray or white building, that it has color. That's nice in West Concord. I noticed that you said you're using the standard area light poles. Those are the ones that take with the little projecting bits for hanging flower pots.
Yeah, let me show you the cut sheet
Nice,
here.
very nice.
So this is, yes, this is that fixture.
Ah, yes. Glad to see it. Maybe it's just the way it looks in your rendering, but your low stone at the bottom of the building sort of, I don't know, makes it float, and the pillars, you can't even see them, so they look like trip hazards. But maybe it'll turn out okay. It's just,
This picture's making it look a lot.
Yeah,
better.
just
Yeah,
rendering.
that's
Put up
definitely the
online,
way it's
it doesn't-
rendering on the screen.
Right.
It's probably a little washed out from what the actual natural stone color would be.
Yeah, this is a Riverstone natural blend. There's no way that I think you could mistake it for cement sidewalk.
right, and there's enough room for wheelchairs to pass between the wall and the pillars?
Yep.
Okay.
Kind of curious, has there been any reaction to the color of the stone, good or bad?
React.
Any comments on the color of the stone?
No comments from the design review committee, no.
Not here.
The West Concord Advisory
Committee, yeah, it seems weird to me, but we're the planning board, not the design committee, excuse me, the advisory committee.
And I do think I think it's the translation, but if you look, it's really much less washed out.
Right.
Yeah.
At least there they have some color to them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, they're also 3.5 feet tall or something. It's not like it's the bottom of the casement. It's not like on the ground.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
Right.
We have it in our existing store in Upton, Mass, and it's very different from the sidewalk and so on. You can see the,
Right, well, I looked at a
The
few
con-
photos online, but, one of the stores, it had a lot of stuff out front, wood and ice and whatever it was, so it was hard to get a good look at the stuff. Right. You mentioned that you're improving the nonconformity of the setback, but really the point of the maximum setback was to require parking to be in the back. So, I don't think it's I don't see it as reducing the nonconformity, that it's slightly close, that the amount of the setback is less. This isn't a problem. You're right. This is a very difficult site. You couldn't possibly put the building at the curb and actually do anything. I'm just saying that I don't see that myself as an improvement to the parcel. I see it as neutral.
And that's fair, obviously on that specific form of relief, the question is whether we're making it substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood, so we'll take neutral. I will say that from the standpoint of, and your point's
I mean,
taken
you're
in terms
getting
of,
the minimum height, so that's an
Yeah.
improvement.
I know that another common goal of maximum setback provisions, particularly in village settings like this, is not just the parking, but also to make it more pedestrian friendly. And I would argue that adding walkways, adding that covered canopy around the building.
These are improvements, I agree, those are, it's just the setback.
Well, what's
itself
coming
that's-
closer to the street is the pedestrian facing side of the building.
All cars between the sidewalk.
I'll take neutral.
Yeah.
Let's see if Pat or Abby have any questions or comments.
Could you describe the material on the canopy? Is it a faux rusted corrugated tin? Patchwork?
It's gonna be copper looking.
Yeah, so it is a corrugated, it's an actual metal corrugated material
Okay.
which comes in several panel sizes. What's rendered here is something to give it a rustic look, but it would be actual copper or some other metal, which would have a natural patina and further align with the brand of the store.
Okay. So you're not aging it in advance. You're just letting it age.
It's so a new update from the last meeting with the West Concord Advisory Committee is that we're actually gonna re-update that color to look more of just the neutral copper.
So it'll eventually fade to green?
If it's natural and it's not sealed, it may.
Okay,
If it's not copper, it won't.
Yeah.
oh, well, but it might be sealed.
Okay, so that's going to be a more kind of homogeneous color across the campus.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And then did the West Concord Advisory Committee, the West Concord design guidelines for canopies over gas pumps often, I think it says there's a preference for a pitched roof as opposed to a flat roof. How did that factor into your decision to do a flat roof over the gas pumps?
Can actually respond to that specifically with the section from the design guidelines. So the flat roof is in section 4.5 from the West Concord design guidelines. Flat roof section is in the first paragraph described as one of the predominant roof forms generally encouraged for commercial structures due to its function by providing the optimization of space interior to the structure.
No, I
So-
know for the structure, but for the actual canopy over the gas pumps.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, the building structure flat roofs are totally typical in
Yeah.
West Concord, but I think if I'm remembering the design guidelines correctly, there was a preference for not a flat canopy over gas pumps at gas stations specifically.
So due to the size constraints on this particular site, using a gable roof or a traditional triangular roof form here could actually result in the structure needing to become larger to adequately shed water than what's currently proposed.
Okay, so you're proposing the flat roof to lower the height.
Yeah, it's a much more efficient use of resources
Okay,
to employ a flat roof here.
okay. Those are my two questions.
Can I ask a follow-up question, within the canopy, your suppression system, it will be clearly, won't be visible? I mean, other
That's
than,
correct. Yeah,
so the tanks and are up in the roof canopy?
that's correct. And for full service, fire code actually doesn't require it, but we're doing it anyways.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Not anymore.
So you just expect that person to hit that stop button, I guess, huh?
Pat, did you have any comments?
Oh, no, I think everyone has asked any question I might have had.
Well, I'm not sure if it's relevant to the planning board, but those windows look very, flat. Elizabeth, I don't even know what the correct terms are to phrase the question I'm trying to ask. Whether these are real windows or fake windows. See, I don't even know the words to use.
All windows are genuine.
They're
I
all
mean-
windows with, real buttons or
Those are the
painted
words
on
I'm
buttons.
These are storefront commercial windows. Every mullion that you see here is a true mullion.
They are
Uh,
mullions.
Yes, to use muntins here would not be conducive to.
One of those answers.
Yes,
And then
No.
that.
But they don't open.
no, these are fixed storefront systems, yep,
What about the ones up top?
also fixed storefront.
So the, senior planner Christine Zale did, prepare an initial report. I don't know if you want her, you've covered many of the items that were in the report, so I don't
Yes.
know. Christine has anything else to add?
Really, the only thing to add was that one thing that the application we would like to see is a rendering of the trash enclosure, because that wasn't included. There's a description, but not an architectural rendering. And then, like Elizabeth said, most other comments are awaiting the final peer review. But then you've addressed a lot of the additional sustainability features have already been discussed a bit. Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
sorry, yes, this is the product. We just wanted
Okay.
to cover that tonight. We did share this with the design review when we were in front of them, but Axel, I don't know if you want to speak to
Yeah.
this further.
So there's the package that you see up here. This is a unitized system, and it'll look just like the project which my office completed here in town last year at 7768 Elm Street, the former paparazzi location, which was developed by Crosspoint. So it's it gives the appearance of a slatted traditional fence design around the enclosure. But this is a commercial product suitable for longevity and durability over time.
And then this would be the color selection here
Right.
to work well with the material on the building itself.
But it will not have a roof, correct?
No,
Right.
no, open air. Yeah.
So if you can submit those tomorrow. For
Sure.
the application, that would be great.
What would that come out to in yardage? Is that like a 3 yard or a 4 yard or a 5 yard or?
Oh, yardage
Yeah,
for
dumpster.
the size of the
Yeah.
dumpster.
The enclosure is 10 by 10, I
Yeah.
think that we're showing, so we've got space for a few pieces of equipment in there.
The public health director has requested some additional information regarding the enclosure and just the different uses of the site and making sure that the enclosure is sufficient. But I do know one item that came up at the West Concord Advisory Committee on the question about the store operation itself. It's not like a convenience store where they, and now maybe I'll leave it to the applicant, but it's not like they, gonna have coffees and, coffee station and pastries and correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's correct.
So they're not gonna be making food in
Mm.
the store. That from a solid waste element, there's that is not it. Cardboard or other recycling. So,
Um,
oh, go ahead, Christine, sorry.
Just one other thing to mention, and I mean, the board already did discuss it a little bit, or the lighting on the site. It's just, I mentioned that the proposed building lights do have a correlated color temperature of 3000 Kelvin. So it was suggested, can those be brought down to a warmer, the 2700? And also just generally, is the number of fixtures on the building and the building canopy necessary, or are we overlighting it at all? Just forethought.
Yeah, we can certainly look at the Kelvin rating on those and see if there's a different temperature we can specify.
Okay.
And in terms of the number of lights, Axel alluded to it earlier, but some of those are sort of an architectural feature on the above the canopy that are more decorative than anything. I don't think those are throwing a lot of light. They're really not helping with our photometrics. It's more of a glow. The photometrics are really mostly performed by our post lights, which is the city, the Concord standard, and then the sort of wall pack sconce features on the rear of the building, and then the under canopy lights that are within the gas canopy and under the porch feature, which they'll be sort of hidden from view as you're looking at it from the street. So hopefully that's minimizing the look and feel of that. But we'll certainly look at the temperature on the ones that are looking too cool.
Okay, great.
You said sort of hidden. Will they be fully
They're
recessed?
flush mounted in the ceilings.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they're
yes, fully
recessed up.
recessed. Okay.
There's no uplighting in the site, right?
Correct. That's correct.
No bollards.
No.
So at this time, the applicant was on the agenda for Thursday night for the Board of Appeals. They have requested a continuance without discussion to one. We're hopeful to have the peer reviews letter this week so that they can work with town staff and the consultant on addressing any issues and concerns that may have been raised, along with the other items in the report and what was discussed tonight. So we are asking that the board just continue its discussion for its which will be making a recommendation to the Board of Appeals your meeting on April 14th.
And 7?
I don't think it's at 7. No. I don't know what time. Since this isn't a public hearing, it doesn't.
It doesn't have to get moved.
It doesn't have
Okay.
to be moved to a date and time certain. For the 14th, you will have the update from the consultant regarding the subdivision rules and regulations. And then there will also be a short presentation from the Concord Historical Commission on the draft historic preservation plan, which the final draft is supposed to be released next Friday, April 3rd, for a public comment period to close May 8th. So the commission will be on the agenda to just present the quick presentation to the board. So it would be after that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right, moving on to the next item. Public comments limited up to 15 minutes, with no more than 1 minute allocated to any one speaker. Public comment is limited to items that are not on the agenda this evening. Do you have anyone in the room? Anyone with their hands? And no one on. So. No. 49 Willard, common approval on the required plan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Changed on this. Okay, so, this is, an A&R plan. I don't know if everybody's familiar, Nashotah Road comes off of that Elm Street yet? No, that's Main Street, Main Street. And then at the very top of Nashotah is, Willard Common. This, existing house is at 49 Willard Common. The lot boundary is, this whole area. They're proposing to divide the lot into, 2 new lots and the, lot for the existing house. The current lot is 148,487 square feet, has approximately 242 feet of frontage on Willard Common and 462.61 feet of frontage along Nashotah Road. Nashotah Road is a public road. Willard Common is a private road. The lot is in the Residence A zone district, which requires 150 feet of frontage and 40,000 square feet of lot area. As I said, the plan shows the division of the lot into 3 lots. All 3 lots will have more than 40,000 square feet of area. The 2 new lots will have more than 150 feet of frontage on Nashotah Road. The existing lot will maintain at least 150 feet of frontage on Willard Common. The applicant has provided a conceptual driveway plan, lot 3A-2. It has some steep slopes along Nashotah. They have provided a conceptual plan that shows a driveway can be constructed off Nashotah Road. And let me see, and then the existing lot 3A-1 will continue to meet the required frontage on Willard Common, and which will provide its direct and practical access continuing to the existing dwelling. It is recommended that the planning board move to endorse the plan as approval not required. Because the plan is not a subdivision, because every lot shown on the plan has at least 150 feet of frontage as required by the zoning bylaw, either on a public way maintained and used as a public way, which is Nashotah Road, or a private way in existence on February 28th, 1938, which has sufficient width, suitable grade, adequate construction for the existing house at 49 Willard Common, and authorize the chair clerk or the town planner to endorse the plan.
Any comments? I do just want to note that we did receive several letters related to this, which were provided to the planning board both in advance of the meeting in the package as well as printed here for us. And though I don't know that anything that's raised in there is actually a matter for this board. Because as referenced by Elizabeth, the lots have sufficient frontage on a public way. So it's approval's not required.
Well,
Well, I mean,
and the existing house.
and the existing
obviously.
house has, yeah, yeah. So,
So that doesn't seem to leave us with discretion as it appears
Right,
to
no.
follow the requirements.
Or opinion.
right.
I took a stroll over today to take a look at this, to get in my head what this is going to look like. And it didn't cause me any questions about the being incompatible with the area or not in the public interest. So,
And I thought with an approval not required plan, that is not even something over which we have any discretionary
Correct.
decision power, provided that it follows these regulations which you so clearly stated. There we are, is my understanding.
Mhm. So, I guess with that, do we have language that we should, I know you had said it.
Yeah.
What do we?
I don't think, up to whether you want to take part in it.
Yeah, well.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
take public comment
Oh, yeah.
first. Cynthia Dreischer.
Do they have you muted?
Yes, hello.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
yes,
Thank you. Thank you for recognizing me.
Please state your name and address for the record, thank you. Also, there, you appear to have some sort of echo, I don't know if you can fix it.
I'm not sure.
you're good now.
You're good now.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Cynthia Deisher, and my husband Brian Deisher and I reside at 29 Willard Common in Concord.
Ms. Dreischer, are you both of you and your husband in the same room with the device?
Yes,
Could you see if you can mute or see if his device is causing the echo?
Brian, get off the Zoom. Let's try it.
Apologize.
That's fine. He has gotten off the Zoom. That seems to be better, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right, my apologies. Thank you for letting me speak today on this important matter. I'm not going to discuss the comments in the letter that was previously sent to Elizabeth Hughes about this A&R application. Elizabeth has already responded to this and indicated that this letter has been made available in the meeting documents. My comments on the current application are as follows. On the concept plan in the A&R application, Lot 2 driveway is shown as being on Neshotic Road. If that is the true intent, I question why a mailbox is shown on Willard Common for Lot 2. As we know, mailboxes are assigned by the town building department based upon the driveway location. Is the true intent to have the driveway on Willard Common and not on Neshotic Road? Also, the listing agent has Lot 2 listed on MLS and a land vest sign on Willard Common. If there is truly to be a driveway on Neshotic using its legal frontage, why is the land vest sign not down on Neshotic Road instead of Willard Common? My real concerns about this A&R, and my first real concern, is that it does not reflect the true intent of where the driveway is for Lot 2. My second concern for A&R is more significant. The A&R application submitted to the planning board for approval tonight has a material deficiency. Willard Common is listed on the application as a public way instead of a private way. Willard Common is a private way. The applicant has asked to make several representations when naming a private road, including sufficient width for suitable grades, sufficient adequate construction to provide for the needs of vehicular traffic in relation to the proposed use of land for installation of municipal services, and additional requirements. The applicant has not done any of this because they have not recorded Willard Common as a private way on the ANR application. Additionally, a private way requires the board to evaluate 5 different factors in determining whether a private way is adequate. These are listed on the ANR application. I don't know how the board could have considered these factors because the ANR application does not list Willard Common as being a private way. Rather, it is listed as a public way. Additionally, it appears that sections of Willard Common, based upon independent surveying I have done, does not meet the minimum 50-foot of width requirement for the right-of-way and the 40 feet of width for the private way and the 18 feet of width for the travel way. Based upon these issues raised, I ask that you defer approval of this application until these serious matters are appropriately researched and considered. You have also received a statement from Henry Dane, who has also looked into this matter. And the burden of compliance for these and other technical requirements, as he states, lies with the applicant. And the applicant fails to address or offer factors in support of the necessary conclusions for a number of them. And the application is incomplete and cannot be considered by the board. He also brings up my concern about the private way and the turning radius, which has to be considered. He says that if they want to put a driveway up there, which I know they're not saying that right now, but they could, the situation would fall under a special permit under zoning bylaw section 5.3.18. The planning board rules impose condition on what may be counted as frontage. The means of access to an individual lot is a matter that should be taken into consideration when approving any plan. So I ask you to, at a minimum, do the work that is required to make sure that this application appropriately meets the conditions of a private way, because Willard Common is a private way. And there are requirements for the board in that regard. And there are also statements that an applicant has to make. And that has not been done in the application before you now. Do you have any questions for me at this time?
Not. Anyone else on the board have any questions?
Does the application say that Willard Common is a public way?
So the application that was submitted, the actual application, they list Willard Common as a public way. And the plan was revised after it was submitted to correct that Willard Common is a private way. The plan before the board, the discussion by this board of where the driveway is located as it relates to Willard Common is not within the jurisdiction of this board. The 2 new lots, their required frontage is being shown off Nishotic Road. Whether the future owner or current owner, their intention of how they access the lots off Nishotic Road, or whether the one lot chooses to access off Willard Common, is that would be a civil matter as it relates to Willard Common. For an A&R, the board's jurisdiction is limited to determining the frontage for those 2 lots. Their required frontage is off Nishotic. The existing house is Willard Common was laid out sometime in, I think, 1884. It's based on the plan at that time. It's anywhere from 36 to 40 feet. The roadway itself, the paved width is about 21 feet. It is, the existing house is served adequately off Willard Common. And this plan is not changing that access, and the lot will retain its required frontage, meeting the zoning bylaw at 150 feet.
Right. So if someone wanted to put driveways off of Willard Common, that would not be a matter relevant to this A&R. It would be a matter relevant to some other application or even some other jurisdiction entirely.
It would not require any type of approval from the town of Concord.
Yeah.
May go ahead again. You have your hand raised.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak again. I understand that the two lots on Nashotah Road have frontage. The two new lots have their frontage on Nashotah Road. One has reduced frontage on Willard Common, but one of the three lots you are approving is exclusively has frontage on Willard Common. And that is not reflected in this application. So you have two lots that touch Nashotah, and you have one lot exclusively on Willard Common, and that is not reflected in this application. And the applicant has not satisfied the requirements of this application, and the board is therefore also not able to satisfy the requirements of this because they did not receive the correct application. I don't see how there's any way around it. This is a private road, and one of the lots is entirely on the private road.
That lot is an existing lot, is it not?
Well, not in the current configuration.
But the current driveway is. It's an
But
existing.
but are you not being asked to approve
But.
all of these?
Can you answer my question? Is it not?
Yes, of course.
Is it not an existing driveway? Is that driveway there?
Lot number 1?
Correct.
Yes, it is an existing
Okay.
driveway.
Thank you. So, I'm gonna have to disagree where our hands are tied in regards to the lots. So we have no control over that. So I can't see any reason why we can't put this. No. So
I move that,
here,
thank you very much. I move that we endorse the plan by Stansky and McNary Inc. entitled Plan of Land in Concord, Massachusetts for 49 Willard Common dated March 5th, 2026. Wait a minute. March 5th, is that the revised version or the original version? Because you said you got a revision to change private to public. What's the correct date?
I'm fairly certain that is. Give me a second. I don't think there's a revision dates. It is March
5th, okay, dated March 5th, 2026 for Jan's Concord Nominee Trust is approval not required because the plan is not a subdivision because every lot shown on the plan has at least 150 feet of frontage as required by the Concord zoning bylaw, either on a public way maintained and used as a public way or a private way in existence on February 28th, 1938, which has sufficient width, suitable grades, and adequate construction, and authorize the chair, clerk, or town planner to endorse the plan.
Second it.
right, since we're hybrid, the roll call vote, Pat Nelson. Pat? I can't hear.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't
thank
hear me?
No, we can't, thank you.
Okay.
Abby Flanagan,
Aye.
Alan Gojin,
Yes,
Sue Felston,
Aye.
Andrew Borden,
Yes.
myself, Rob Almeida, yes.
As far as updates that I have, the board received an email regarding presenting at the League of Women Voters first Friday that highlights zoning articles for annual town meeting. Either that Thursday, the 16th from 10 to 12, or Friday, the 17th, what's it, 10:30 to 12:30.
Well, if it's on Thursday, it's neither the first one nor a Friday, but okay.
I know, well, it's.
Whatever.
They,
may have-
Friday is the deadline, noon on Friday is the deadline to submit your presentations for annual town meeting, so.
So we
the
would prefer
league-
Thursday.
The league said they could hold it on Thursday, to allow. So my question to the board, I know Alan and Sue said they're available. Rob needs to look at his work schedule. So Abby and Pat, I didn't know, Abby's got a thumbs up, she's available. And then.
It's certainly available, but I thought I was going on the consent agenda.
I will check with the league. I don't think you actually need to present your.
Okay,
art.
I'm going to be
I'm sorry.
delighted to be there.
Also, it would be a stretch, but in a pinch, it's possible somebody else could present it for you, although it's a little complicated.
I know, and I would hate to miss the opportunity to present it. So yes, I am available and it's
Okay.
on my calendar.
I'll let you know.
Okay. And then Andrew, you said yes?
Yeah, I can do that too.
It is, we're gonna be ecstatic.
They make you look bad, I'm sure. I think it should be able to, but I just want to confirm.
It makes you feel better. I've never been to one of these before because I've never been able to make it, so.
That's awesome.
This will be the first year.
Okay, that's my only update for tonight.
I don't have any.
I have nothing.
If anyone's super bored, they can check out the town podcasts. I was interviewed earlier this week about the zoning bylaw.
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
So Megan also did mention she has been pinging other people, so I promised I would plug it.
All right. I'll get it tomorrow.
Just trying to raise the profile. There are literally dozens of people waiting to hear from it.
With that, we'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.